You have a black student, they was threatened by two Caucasian females. They threatened to kill this girl. Now, of course, that would alarm her parents, but let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Like, my life got threatened today, and I was like, what?
Crystal Alexander says her 12-year-old daughter was a victim of bullying after two Caucasian girls wrote on a note that they planned to get a gun and kill her.
They were saying that she was the biggest bee in the world. They were peed off at her, and the other girl said, well, I'll help you kill her.
Alexander says the issue is that school officials didn't follow the student handbook, leaving her daughter to walk the same halls with the girls who threatened her life. The principal of Baskin Elementary wasn't in school Friday, but Superintendent Laney Johnson gives us this statement. We followed the policy to the T, and we feel like we've done everything we can do. The students received 9-day suspensions, and we've had no previous issues from these girls. For Alexander, that's not enough. The student handbook says it has a zero-tolerance policy for anyone who threatens to kill. The procedures say to notify the parent, 9 days of suspension with the recommendation of expulsion, and to refer the incident to law enforcement, something Alexander says they didn't do.
If they catch her in the bathroom or they catch her in the gym, they could do something to her.
And your biggest fear?
Is losing my daughter.
So Alexander called the police herself, but she says
one of the officers said, well, that's normal.
She asked that everyone put themselves in her shoes.
If it was your child, you would feel the same way I felt. It's not okay.
Listen, I would take any threat like that extremely seriously. Based off what we have seen with all the different school shootings and based off of the history of white teenagers getting guns and doing things, yes, take that seriously every single time. If the role was reversed and it was two black girls that threatened a white girl in the same manner, trust me, it would have been hell and high water for those two black girls. So this mom has every right to be concerned because, you know, they have more access to guns than black folks do. You know that. And we've seen time and time again, this is based off of news reports I reported and things that we just see in the news all the time what's happening with all these school shootings. It isn't black children that's shooting up the schools. It's not. So we have to be also concerned about this. Now, of course, I read exactly what you read off the phone. Yes, they did what they were supposed to do. But did they get law enforcement involved? Because law enforcement should have arrested them at that point, especially when you threaten to kill people. You see, we seeing this mess all the time. And that's why I tell black people, you know, with this climate and what's going on and how it's going to continue to get progressively worse. I'm telling you this, it's going to get worse. You have to take control of your children's education and not put them in those kind of environments. It's just that simple. Now, this happened in Louisiana, just letting you know that. But black people have to get serious with this. We have to start really creating schools so our children can be educated in a safe environment. And, you know, of course, you have the white supremacists that get upset when we say things like this, but we have to protect our children. If they refuse to protect their own children and won't put metal detectors at the doors and warn people down before they come in, why are we going to sit here and allow our children to be exposed to things like that? We as black folks have to take control of our own lives and especially our children's lives as parents. We have to do so. So if you could homeschool some of them or give them a private tutor to do the homeschooling, it may be a sacrifice, but it's things that you may have to do, or put them in a school that's ran by people within the community. Because I just don't see no other solution to this. Because they don't want to stop racism. They don't want to stop this at all. They're comfortable in this, obviously, because the country is built on that. But who is at fault at the end of the day if something happens to our children? Or if something happens to this child? Are you going to sit here and continue to send it to that school? Now, I know some black folks will say, well, I'm not running from nothing. I'm not running. Look, you could say you're not running anything, but when it comes to your children, you could have a battle all day long with yourself, but you must protect your children. And my children is not going to be put up in any situation where they can be harmed. It's not going to happen. Now, when it comes to me, that's a different story, but not my children. Have that kind of responsibility, at least to your kids. That's the only thing that I'm saying. Their education is important. We need to focus more on education than anything else because they purposely dumbing down the society because a dumbed down people was easily to control. So this is why we as black parents must really push education, and we have to teach ourselves. It's just that simple. Leave me a comment, let me know thing about this particular story when it comes to this parent. Now, if you were in this particular situation, just asking some of you, how would you respond?